Hey guys, welcome to my TV guide all about what I'm watching. I'm Alta and I hope I don't look too terrible. I put on some lipstick because I figured just because that episode was bad doesn't mean I had to look completely bad. I went to sleep super late last night working on my hair, and then I tried to take a nap before Sleepy Hollow started. That didn't work out, so I was annoyed watching the episode, and the content of the episode didn't help my mood at all. Like, this was not an escape at all. So the episode went off an hour ago. I had me some tea because I had to reflect on the 42 minutes of my life that I just lost and will never get back. So it was a horrible episode. Like, it didn't flow at all from the premiere. It was a waste of time. Now, the whole let's like give the characters something to want for like 35 minutes and then not let them have it at the end, it's been done. It's fine, it's normal, it's organic, it happens. You want something, you have a goal, and then things change. You have to change the plan, things change. But the thing is that when you're gonna do something like that, don't waste it on a character that's irrelevant. Katrina is irrelevant. I have nothing against her personally, but they don't care about her. You don't care about Katrina. I don't care about Katrina's potential enough to be indignant that you're not doing anything with her. So, if you're gonna give the characters something to chase, only to take it away from them, at the end, don't focus don't focus the chase on a character that doesn't matter. Katrina's only here to give Ichabod a story that's not Abby, that's not his witness thing with Abby, basically, and it's not even as important as Abby. Like, Abby has Jenny, and that's important. That's an important part of character, something that's going to help her grow. Katrina is not teaching us anything about Ichabod. Katrina is not teaching us anything about herself. So this was a waste. When I realized that Katrina was going to stay where she was, I was like, wow, they really wasted all that film and my time on this storyline. So, I mean, this episode didn't flow. So when we ended the premiere, it was like, it was solid. Okay, so I understand that they could not have fit Katrina's rescue in the premiere. I understood. It made perfect sense because there was simply too much going on in the premiere. More important things going on, okay? Ichabod needed to get out. Abby needed to get out. We needed to see her in Purgatory. We needed to explore Purgatory with her and understand the risk, okay? Jenny was taken. She needed to get out. We had to remind everyone why Abby and Ichabod rock. We had to solidify their partnership, because when they ended the season, it was kind of in a, Abby wasn't really for the plan to like go ahead into Purgatory and get Katrina and all that stuff, and Ichabod had lied to her about having destroyed the painting and letting go of that plan to go get Katrina. So we needed everything that we had in the premiere, and there was simply not enough time to go get Katrina. So I understood that. I understood waiting until this episode. But the thing is that knowing that Katrina is irrelevant and knowing that you weren't going to rescue her, could you have maybe made rescuing Katrina a smaller part of this episode? Like, okay, fine. Keep it the A plot, but give us a strong B plot. Irving selling his soul to Moloch doesn't count as a strong B plot. Sheriff Reyes coming into town doesn't count as a strong B plot. You know what would have counted as a strong B plot? Exploring Abby's PTSD. Well, not really PTSD, but basically giving her more stuff that reminded her of Purgatory. Instead they mentioned it and completely. It was a throwaway, basically. It was a throwaway. Like, those bags that came flying out of nowhere were really just in there to get Abby to talk about Purgatory. That could have been a bigger part of the episode, where she just kept seeing things that, I mean, hello, this was all about Abby facing Moloch, and then it turns out we're not even going to remember it? Like, do you remember that the reason Abby chose to stay in Purgatory, on top of giving Katrina a way out, was for her to finally face Moloch. She did, and now she's out, and we don't even get anything out of it. And then, so this episode, at the end, Abby was like, let's take this victory. What victory? You guys just took a victory in the last episode. Instead of telling us, let's take this victory, they should have just spent more time showing us the victory from the last episode. There was just no flow for me. Like, the emotions. So, like I was saying before, we ended the episode, Abby was like, this is war, I said in the review of the premiere, she was like, we're not fucking around anymore. We're going to go after Moloch with everything we've got. And it was just this whole thing where they were on the same page. Jenny was on the same page. Ichabod was on the same page. Yeah, he was worried about Katrina, but they were on the same page. We opened this episode, and Abby's totally against the plan to... First of all, they're not even focused on the horsemen. They're focused on the horsemen as a proxy to go get Katrina. Like, that's the focus of the episode. And then the solidification that happened last episode was nowhere to be found because we were once again with Abby not wanting to do it and Ichabod swearing up and down that it's gonna work. Why does he think this? He was just, like, I feel like he was just all over the place in this episode. Like, he found the Kindred, not because he was looking for it, but because he happened to find it. And so, like Ichabod always does, he jumped into it, full gusto, all guns blazing, let's bring this thing back to life. Abby's like, no. And it's just like, that's not where we ended the season 2 premiere. And so then by the end of this episode, Ichabod's like, you're right, we shouldn't use monsters to fight monsters. But it's like, I'm sorry, but you learned this already. Because basically what he learned at the end of this episode was to listen to Abby and listen to her gut. We did this in a much more satisfying way, in a much more hard-hitting episode, an episode with much more substance, when he ripped the map into purgatory. So this episode was pointless. We had Katrina and Abraham. Nobody cares. The show doesn't care about Katrina and Abraham. I don't know why they're doing this. It's a waste of time. It takes away from the horsemen. They tried to give the Ichabod shippers some like fodder when he was like, oh, you're his wife, and you look at how he fought like hell to get Abby out of purgatory, and then look how long he waited to get you out. And Katrina was looking like, oh my god, and he was like, you saw with your own eyes. But I'm like, okay, but Katrina, why are you looking affected by this? Yeah, you saw them hug in purgatory. So beforehand, Ichabod was dead. He's literally had more time. Well, that's not true. He had more time to try to get you out than he tried to get Abby out. He got Abby out in like a day, but that's because, Abby was helping him get her out. And she was naked with the details and the instructions. Abby wanted to get out of purgatory. You were giving riddles and speaking in whispers and near tears. She stayed near tears, and I don't connect with it. Why are you always crying? Why are you always crying? Like, why are you always wanting to cry on the verge of tears? So they tried to give us a bone to have some, basically, death, notices the chemistry between Ichabod and Abby. But it's like, who is Abraham? He's lame. I don't care about his opinions on, Ichabod. I don't care what he notices. What they're showing us with Ichabod and Abby, the way they're building them, it doesn't need Abraham. I'm just like, what they're showing us is stronger than whatever the hell Abraham just said. It's stronger than throwing it in Katrina's face. Who's Katrina? They're doing this, but it's like Ichabod and Katrina are nothing. Like, Ichabod and Katrina are just a fact. They're a fact. That's it. They're just a fact of the show. Like, there's no substance to it. They're being supported by history and history only, and it's history that we haven't really seen. So it's like, I don't care about these people's comments on Ichabod and Abby, and I don't care about their reactions. I don't care that Death is so lame that this is his weapon against Katrina. I don't care that Katrina's feelings, she's having second thoughts, or she's re-examining or whatever. Another thing this episode did was show us things that we saw in the premiere, and I understand that it's only the second episode of the season, so like, they have to consider the people who are just tuning in who didn't see the premiere. But it's like, I felt like in the beginning they leaned way too much into those people. It was like stuff we've already heard. Oh, remember how, and they were speaking super fast. And I was like, is it because I'm annoyed that I'm not hearing what they're saying? No, it's because what they were saying were not interesting. And I was actually considering waiting until tomorrow to review this episode, because I was like, surely I'm missing stuff because I'm annoyed about like not really getting a good nap, and that's why this episode feels discombobulated. But no, this episode was just discombobulated. Like, it was all, oh, remember how Abraham was your friend? Remember that you know him, you know him better than anyone? Oh, remember how he was affluent? Oh, remember Benjamin Franklin? And I'm get to, like, honestly, the only reason to rewatch this episode is to catch the details. Like, what is the specific name of the gospel, the book of the Bible that wasn't written or that wasn't published or whatever. Like, details like that. Like, what is the name? What is it called? For future fandom, like, reference. As far as rewatching the episode for substance, nah, I got it on the first go around. They raised the Kindred. Ichabod wanted to raise the Kindred to save Katrina. It didn't work out. When he got there, she was like, let me stay so I can be a mole. And I'm like, I don't, like, why? Like, it's not that crucial. It's not that crucial. I feel like there's better ways. There would have been a better way for them to, like, learn information from Moloch. Not saying that they made a bad decision to have Katrina stay there. I'm just saying they made a bad decision dedicating this entire episode just for us to get to that point, that resolution of Katrina in that place where she was. So, freaking Jenny got arrested in this bullcrap for nothing. Now she's in jail because there's a new sheriff in town, literally. Reyes, she's not here for anybody. She's only here to do her job. She's only semi here for Abby, and that's as long as, that's so long as she stays in line. And I feel like part of this might be because Abby is a female character, but I'm glad that she's not like, oh, Reyes, we know more than you. We know what's actually going on. Let me just be, like, barely respectful to you. I feel like the reason why it's not being played out like that is probably because Abby's a female character too. I feel like if it was like a male character or something, he would have been trying to be disrespectful. So Jenny got arrested. Now she's in jail, and she's gonna be there for a while, and because Abby says they have to play this by the book. So basically her release has to be legit. Abby can't pull any strings. And so she's like, just don't wait 13 years to come get me. And I'm like, look at what Ichabod did in his rush to get Katrina, and that didn't even go anywhere. So she's in jail. Now, Frank, Abby went to see him. It was this scene that I couldn't even hear because they're like semi-whispering, and I just didn't hear it. But the point is that Irving was like, fill me in. Abby didn't even do that. She was like focused in the prison. Basically, the only reason that happened was so that Henry could walk in at the end talking about I'm your lawyer, you're going to be released. Just sign these papers right here and sell your soul for all eternity. That's the reason why Abby didn't tell. Because there's no reason why Abby wouldn't have told Irving what was up. The episode certainly had enough time for her to tell him. That's another thing they could have done. Cut the Katrina thing shorter. Focus on Irving stay at the hospital. Him and Abby talking. Focus on Abby. Like, Abby and Reyes' meeting could have been could have had more tension. I'm not saying it needed it, but based on what I got with this whole Katrina thing, I could have used more tension. I'm just trying to think of ways they could have done this episode better. More tension between Abby and Reyes, because here's Abby, everything's reminding her of purgatory, and Reyes is looking at her like, are you turning into your mother and all that stuff. So Reyes brought in Abby's mother, because she's met Abby before and Jenny, or she's read Jenny's file, because back when the girls were young, Reyes used to respond to the calls to the Mills house because the mom was off balance. But I'm guessing that the mom was maybe witness adjacent. The girls had to have gotten it from someplace. Abby had to have gotten it from someplace. So I'm guessing that her mom and their mom saw demons or whatever. Because they said early in the season, when Abby was talking to Jenny, she was like, remember how mom used to make sure that we knew the verses of the Bible and all that stuff, the chapters of the Bible. So I'm pretty sure their mom knew what was up, and maybe she was being plagued by demons too, and that's why she was insane. So yeah, it was a bad episode. It was a bad follow-up to This Is War. This is war! Following episode, let's take a break and try to rescue Katrina, who decides to then stay. What important information? I'm sure she's going to find something else. But I'm she doesn't deserve this time. She really doesn't. So far, Henry's using his powers. In the finale, Henry uses powers a lot more than Henry uses powers, period. Because so far Katrina has not used her powers. Because what we thought was her like using her powers to communicate with Ichabod in season 1 turned out to be her reading some words that she saw on the floor. Words that Abby can read and that Ichabod can read too. So Henry's already using his powers more. Jenny has been more use to this whole apocalypse thing than she has. Ichabod's talking about something. Don't forget she's a witch, so she could tip this. The girl doesn't even have powers right now, so can he please come into reality with the rest of us and realize that they've actually been doing fine all by themselves without Katrina. Like, it's not like they're in any bad spot right now where anybody needs to be exalting Katrina for her potential that we honestly haven't even seen. We have not seen her potential. Like, how did she manage to preserve Ichabod's body? She didn't at all try to use her powers in this episode. So Jenny's been of more use in this whole fight against the apocalypse. Irving has been of more use in this fight against the apocalypse. Like, we needed to not. We didn't like. So the only things of import that happened in this episode, we met Reyes. She was introduced, and she's not here for anybody. Jenny's in jail. Irving just signed his soul over to the dark side. He doesn't know who Henry is. And at first it's like, what? But on the other hand, it's like they really never told Frank about Henry Parrish. When he revealed himself to be bad, Irving was busy dealing, trying to help Macy. But at the same time, I guess it didn't stay on the phone long, but Henry was there when they went looking for the weapon. Was he not there when they trapped Incetive? Wasn't he there? Oh no, that was Jenny, Abby, and Ichabod. Henry wasn't there. But yeah, they really never got the time to for Irving to have learned about Henry was in this episode when Abby went to visit him, but it was too late. They already decided that they were gonna take the cheap way out. Not tell him because they needed to reveal at the end of the episode. So I wonder what's going to happen with Irving. His soul is signed. Is he on his way out? Who knows? Next episode, Jenny's going to be putting a gun at Abby. I'm excited because that means Mills sisters bonding, emotional scenes, strong scenes. Their scenes are always strong, so I'm super excited about that. I don't remember if they even showed Katrina. I don't remember. I don't know what Ichabod's doing. I don't remember his dumb ideas. This is an example of how Ichabod weighs Abby down. Honestly. So, the Kindred was not one for the books, not one for the records. The whole Abraham and Katrina, they don't need to talk about Ichabod and Abby because Ichabod and Abby don't need it as partners or as a ship. I certainly don't need it. And that was that. And Abby told Ichabod that, I'm pretty sure my biggest weakness is my faith in you. Tell me about it, girl, because here you went giving him leeway with this idea, and it was dumb and a waste of my time. So, Abby and Katrina kind of had a moment where Abby walked in and was like, let's do it, let's go. And then she was like, wait, you're not coming? Looking at Katrina, and Katrina was like, yeah, Abby, pretty sure thinking something irrelevant. Oh, you guys are partners. Whatever, I don't care. So, that's that. I don't care. Katrina is not important enough for her to be feeling any kind of way about Ichabod and Abby. For us to be spending screen time on it, she's not important enough. You didn't build her as important enough. She's not a foil, basically. She's not a foil. Ichabod's feelings for her aren't a foil. I don't care. And that's the takeaway from this episode and this review. I don't care. So hopefully next week will be better. Hopefully we won't spend a whole lot of time with Katrina and Abraham. They're lame together. At one point in this episode I was like, let's show Moloch. Okay, let's show Moloch. Let's go back to Moloch and let's show Henry because these two together are a snore. You had the two horsemen, war and death, basically looking around, going in a circle because the Kindred ran off, and while they were chasing, both of them were chasing one person or one entity. Ichabod and Abby drove off. So that was the episode. Just know. Alright, so I'll see you guys next week, basically, to talk about Sleepy Hollow. If you watch How to Get Away with Murder, I will see you on Thursday to talk about that. I was super excited about this week starting this morning because that show is going to be on Thursday. Now, I just wish it was actually Friday because that episode has me so tired, Sleepy Hollow. And I'm so tired, like, to begin with. I just want it to be the weekend. Alright, so you guys, thank you for watching. Comment, let me know what you think. And all that stuff. I'll see you next week. Bye.